Welcome back to the channel for another College TF review. Today we have another Star Wars The Vintage Collection review, that being Clone Captain Rex from The Bad Batch. I'm loving the new Bad Batch series. I think it's a fantastic elaboration on the original Clone Wars series, of which I'm a huge fan, as that's the main Star Wars series that I grew up with. And I've always loved the Clone Wars. I love all the spaceships, and if you've seen any of my other recent reviews, you'll definitely get that sense. I got this guy I got a little bit late, so I didn't actually get him from Hasbro, and he's not, I don't think, available anymore. So you will have to do a little bit of hunting to find him, but I think he's definitely, it looks like a great figure, and I'll unbox him here on the channel. Definitely be sure to also check out All Time Toy Store. Links in the description below for other great vintage collection, Black Series, or Transformers figures, whatever you might want, along with tons of other stuff. So definitely check out their website and eBay store. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out and keeps these reviews coming. So here we have Clone Captain Rex from The Bad Batch. And this is actually an unpunched card, as you can see there. So definitely a little unique, but I'll be ripping this guy out. And actually this card is in great shape, but I'm not a card collector, so this guy's coming out of the packaging today. Here are some of the other figures in the wave. I have already reviewed IG-11 on the channel. I would like to get an Elite Squad Trooper at some point. Definitely would like to pick one up. And if I do, I'll definitely be sure to review any of these other guys on the channel. So that's the packaging. And it's time to rip them open. Let's do it. As cleanly as possible, I guess. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Got a knife even. Look at that. Not too bad. I did kind of mangle that, but whatever. Get out of here. There it goes. Here's Rex in his bubble, out of the outer bubble. Let's pop him out. So let's get that helmet out. Take a look at that. It is in a, it actually fits over his face in theory. We'll test that out for sure. And this visor does move. That's pretty awesome. But really nice paint apps on this helmet and on the visor. This is Rex's kind of custom Phase 2 helmet, where he took his Phase 1 helmet and took a Phase 2 helmet and cut the front off a Phase 2 helmet and welded it together. So you can kind of see those weld lines going up on the sides there. Wish they were actually a little more pronounced, or maybe they actually molded them in a little bit, but still looks good. All the kill counts that he's got all throughout his armor looks awesome. The silver paint on that scope has been applied very nicely. The rangefinder. Yeah, very nice molding. Now we gotta get those little pistols out. Yeah, man. Not really sure why they had to tape these in, but I'm sure so it doesn't just fall out of the bubble while it's sitting there on the shelf, but nonetheless, it's a little tedious. Here are his blasters, little pistol rifles, guns. They're just molded in a black plastic. No paint applications on them, which, I mean, that's fine. Works by me. Nice molding, and they are identical, so you do get two of them. And now, come on, Rex. Rex, old buddy. All right. Here is Captain Rex. Oh, for a second I thought he had a black smudge on his face. No, it's just a little piece of something else. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Let's check out that face sculpt. Looks pretty good. I'd say the hair color is maybe a little bit off. It's a little too bright. But the sculpt definitely looks very realistic. Very nice. I do love this nice fabric cloak he's wearing. I believe this is just a reuse of lots of the previously Rex figure from, I believe he was like a Black Series release originally. So I believe all of this is reused, but the paint on this is really nice. You can see all of those individual kill marks all throughout his armor. It's got on all the sides. This is the shins and everything too. So yeah, it looks like, yeah, this guy's definitely a reuse of the older mold. So don't think he has much in the way of hand articulation here. Yeah, no form of hand other than swivel. So he's a bit on the older side overall, which is a little too bad. They definitely need to update this guy. But I do like this cloak, and we can pull that hood over top, which that actually looks pretty neat. For sure. A little fuzzy there. There we go. Now let's pop that helmet on and see how he looks with it on. Nice, fits on pretty easily. Still gets all those range of articulation. Definitely looks pretty nice with that on, look at that. Now I do believe this helmet is still pretty oversized, but I gotta say it looks pretty good. I mean, the cloak I think helps disguise some of that, which is kind of why I wanted to pick this figure up in particular. I think he is a nicely done Captain Rex. And let's see, these pistols he should be able to hold, of course. Get them in his hands, go in very easily. But they are pretty secure, so that's always good to see. There we go. Got him roughly holding his guns. Captain Rex, can he cross them in front? It is the classic Rex pose. Now there's no wrist articulation there that goes inwards other than, you know, the rotation. So it does make this pose a little tricky. But he can sort of do it-ish. That was a very half-hearted try. So I'm sure you could get him into a much better pose. And now we should be able to store his guns in the holsters here. So let's take a look underneath that cloak. And I'm sure you can pop this cloak off if you take off his head, but I believe that is just the same figure underneath that's already been released. Oh, and he does have his karma thing, whatever you want to call it, hanging down there. And it does have a nice blue. It's hard to see blue going around the outside and black on the inside. That is nice. I do like that it's fabric. Let's stick the gun in the holster here. It is rather loose. Let's see, does it go in better the other way? So it does actually appear to slot in better this way. Let's see, let's try it again. So it is pretty loose going in that way, right? You can see it just falls out. But if you put it in this way, which might actually be the proper way. Yeah, that's probably the proper way. It seats very nicely. It's nice and sturdy, not gonna fall out. Let's get the other one in there as well. It's got a lot of layers of fabric, which I like to see on these figures. Stick that other gun in that holster, cover it up with his cloak, and there we go, Rex is ready to rock and roll, or do bounty hunting, or whatever it is he's actually doing during the Bad Batch. Now, in terms of articulation, this guy actually feels pretty good. So, of course, he does have the nice swivel joint there at the head. It is just a ball joint, because I think he is an older figure, so there is no like double ball joint or anything up there, but definitely plenty range of motion that you could want from him. Let's just get that out of the way. Nice visor under there, definitely. But then he does also have shoulder articulation here, very stiff because this guy's just out of the packaging. I can't actually tell what's underneath there. Is it what kind of joint is it? So it looks like that's actually built in, so this is probably about as far up as it goes due to the age of the figure, but then this range of motion is very good. And actually this cloak, being a very nice cloth material, does allow for all this motion with ease. And he does have a little past 90 there at the elbow, along with a swivel there at the elbow. And then he does have just a swivel at the wrist, no up and down or side to side motion. And at the waist, he does have a full ball joint, which I love to see that on my clone troopers, very nice. Then on the legs, does he have, he has the current style legs, so they're not ball joint, they're just like that swivel joint, but they definitely get all the range of motion that you need. So that's good to see. And then he does have nice little past 90 there at the knees. And then of course he has a swivel there at the knee as well, in addition to that upper swivel and joint. And then at the feet, no kind of ankle tilt, but you can move the feet up and down. So too bad there's no ankle rock, but still, I'm definitely very pleased with this figure. I've been wanting a nice 3 3/4 Rex for a very long time. And this guy especially for a good price. And this guy definitely fits the bill. So let's pull that helmet off. So we haven't done that yet. Oh no, it came off with his head. Oh, that sucks. Let's try that again. Let's see if we can't get it off with his head still attached. Now you can see what kind of, it's just a ball joint underneath the head there. So yeah, this is very stiff. It'll take some effort to actually get that off. Oh, and this whole piece is actually a separate hood. Look at that. I don't know if that actually just separated just now, or it's supposed to do that. It's interesting. Oh no, that's because I just ripped his head off. Yeah, so I'll definitely have to get that back on later. But this helmet definitely is a bit of a pain to get off, for sure. So yeah, that's annoying. But I mean, 90% of the time, I'm definitely gonna have him with his helmet on. So not a huge deal breaker for me. And there you can see it is just a ball joint under there, not the double ball joint of some of like the newer troopers or anything. Get that back on. So I'll get that back off later. Luckily, you've already seen the face sculpt, so you know what is under there. Man, that is a bit of a bummer that it is that stuck on his head, but we'll get it off later. So for some comparisons with Rex, old buddy here, let's get him with his companion at the end of season, whatever season that is, the last season of Clone Wars. I love that. That was fantastic. So with Ahsoka, this Ahsoka's from The Mandalorian though, but still, she's the same size. So there's that comparison. They definitely look good together. Both cloaked in their post-Republic look. And I guess this is Ahsoka post-Empire. So that is them together. So that about does it, I think, for my review of Captain Rex from The Bad Batch and his more cloaked, you know, under the radar appearance. I'm definitely liking the look of this Rex. He feels nice. He definitely has a good number of joints. I wish he had more. Can't wait for Hasbro to update him with the new clone molds that they've done for like all the other ARC troopers. So Fives and Jesse, all of them. So I'd like to see Rex with that mold. That would be perfect. But otherwise, I think he is a pretty good figure, especially if you're a fan of The Bad Batch or just want a cloak for your figures, or the Phase 2 or Phase 1.5, whatever you want to call it, clone helmet for Rex. So thank you for watching as always, and please stay tuned for my next review, and I'll see you then.